Hello and welcome everyone to Shredist's Gaming Itinerary. We are now down here into Ridley, and there's a super missile door there that we currently can't get through, of course, and leading to the right is somewhere where we also can't really progress. So we're gonna go right back out of Ridley. A little bit of that backtracking that Metroid is known for, and if you're wondering, where exactly are we gonna go? Because we came straight through. Well, something has happened in the days since we've last met, and the worm is gone. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to him, or what, but he has left us completely and thoroughly. So we're gonna make our way onward to this boss fight, and I gotta say, guys, I'm really not a fan of flies, and this one is no exception. This boss fight here is a little wonky. We're gonna end up repeatedly chasing him to shoot his stinger region. I'm not sure about bugs and stuff. You do have to move a little bit out to get him to actually follow, and I forgot that there at the beginning. But you do see him changing color. We are dealing a reasonable amount of damage. Chasing him back to the left gets a little difficult. It's a little harder to get good shots on him, but chasing him back to the right, if you can keep up with him, yes, we have defeated him, and his stinger has dropped off. So we're going to come all the way back here. We're going to store that, and we're going to Shine Spark for no reason. Yeah. Kind of a neat little sequence there. For no reason, again. Didn't even matter, but I did it anyways. We've now got those glorious super missiles, which are indeed quite a bit more powerful and much more super in comparison to the normal ones. Unfortunately, the tanks for those do only add 2 instead of 5, so they are a bit of a commodity. We're going to go ahead and safety save, because it's always just a good idea, in all fairness. Just a simple slip up and all of a sudden you're in a spot that you really don't want to be in, and that's not great. But yeah, as I mentioned, super missiles are definitely a commodity in this game. Even getting all of the tanks, you never really get a whole ton of them, so it's a little bit of a better argument there as far as missile conservation goes when it comes to supers instead of normal missiles, but even still, they are there to be utilized, and discretion, I suppose, is always a little on the recommended side. You will have noticed those little ball enemies, like the one I just froze up top, and this one, but there's a sneaky E-tank here. As you can see, that those 4 blocks have started to disappear, and you see a guy coming up to the bottom of the floor, but he's not gonna get us. We're gonna grab that sneaky E-tank, which if you just run in there, as I know I did on the first time I came through this area in the game, you're definitely gonna fall. There's a bunch of those ball enemies through this wall, so let's just utilize the wave beam, take care of the overwhelming majority of them, say goodbye to the last of the 2 floaty ball mask looking dudes, because like those theater masks where the one's happy, the one's sad. We're gonna fall with a little bit of grace until we hit that guy. Find our way into the save room. Again, making use of that. We're gonna come over here. Begin making our way through this section. This hallway is lined with these dudes and the guys at the top. They're not my favorite, but they're easily dispatched, rather. It's more of this hallway is more really of a chore than anything. Especially as we take more damage, just not on it for this segment. As we realize that there's nowhere to go. Vintage me, I went the wrong way, so we're gonna have to go right back through that hallway and eliminate more of this nonsense. That's an interesting point there, that the floor can be wave beamed. So we're gonna not do that as we go to run across it. But you know what, that does sometimes happen. You take a wrong turn in a Metroid game only to realize it. It's a little frustrating, but that's part of the experience. That's a big part of the experience, especially dating back to the pre-map Metroids. But either way, we are going to make our way through here, find that early map room this time, much nicer than those very late ones. And we're about to hit a very interesting interesting spot here. We're gonna get a little cheeky with this bit. This hallway was a brutal one in the original Metroid when I came through here, just due to the enemy fly guys that spawn. Hallmark of the channel there. Pick that up, because there's no good clean way to eliminate them, and they respawn immediately after you pick up something when they die. So in this point of the game, in the original 86 Metroid, everything is dealing 30 damage a hit. So 3 hits as a whole E-tank. They're a little bit less here, which is very, very nice, because this hallway, I have died so many times in the original, and then you gotta start all the way back at the beginning of the sector that you're in, so you have to spawn all the way back, in this instance, at the top of Ridley, back to 30 energy, and you have to grind your way back through just to continue on in the game, and it is brutal. But thankfully we found our reprieve here with this save point. Begin making our way on up, but what we're going to discover here is actually an exit, not an entrance. We will definitely be seeing that panel there of the map later. But for now, we're going to continue our climb upwards, and you'll notice that cheeky little block right there. We got another unknown item on our hands. This part is going to be maybe a little tough to watch, but just bear with me. There's a certain hallway in Ridley where you can get underneath it, and there is an E-tank. This guy, just being a jerk, just jumping right on in there. Notice he's not being hurt by the lava, because why would the lava hurt your enemies? I don't know. Continuing on, we're gonna decidedly come back here. I need to stop saying it that way. And I'm still stuck thinking that this is the hallway that I believe it is. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm thinking, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There's 2 of them now down here as we jump down here. Accidentally, and just taking a ton of damage, which is a frustrating bit when you're sitting there trying to remember what you think is correct and what's not. But alas, it's done. It's over with. We're getting out of here. We've wasted a ton of time, a ton of resources, and we have much better things to do. But starting around here, we're gonna slow down a little bit and take our time. We've been attempting to rush and attempting to remember stuff as we take that hit, but we get that nice drop freeze on that guy. And there's kind of no reason necessarily to be rushing around. I think it's just the nature of kind of what happens. You know, you've got quite a bit to do, so you're trying to get, through it relatively quickly. But there's no need for that. We're gonna fall down through here. Go ahead, hit that safety save. And continue making our way. This room is going to lead directly into the Ridley fight. Now this door is going to shoot those projectiles at us, but it doesn't last all that long regardless. Just hop over them, hit it with that charge beam, and we'll move on. But Ridley's not here. What a jerk. Finally snagged that unknown item. I mean, seriously, doesn't even show up for our date tonight. What a guy. Somehow we missed that energy tank on that jump. Probably one of the best jumps I've had in this game. Regardless, we're going to go ahead and full heal, and if you've never played one of these games before, there's something you need to understand about Ridley. Ridley likes to screech. So do prepare yourself for that. Oh yeah, screechy bits. We're just going to start unloading missiles here as Ridley is busy attempting to intimidate us, which does not work. Give her the super missiles right there, because better to use them when we're grabbed there so we know we're not going to miss, instead of potentially wasting all of those super missiles. But, I mean, we've already gone through like 50 or almost 60 missiles at this point trying to kill Ridley, but it's not going to take too many more. Finally, Ridley gets exactly what Ridley deserves. And importantly, the second end of that bridgeway has now been opened. So instead of just carrying on, we're going to go back. We're going to fully heal up at that Chozo statue, which is just good practice there, just to make sure. That fight went reasonably well for us, but if it took a little bit too much out of you, you could always safely go back, regenerate some of that HPs, get some of those missiles right back, and not have to worry about a thing. But now we're going to start the long road back, because we do have to get on out of here. With that being said, we are going to do a little bit more exploring, and I ask you to hang in there with me. I know there's still a good 5 minutes or whatever left, but hang in there. We'll get through it. Double check, see where we're going. Notice that there's that spot up there and up through that shaft and to the left that we don't have anything going through yet. Save that shine spark on that surface like I mentioned, the fact that it's rounded. Get back up through here. There's not as many places in this game, I don't feel like, naturally to do that with in comparison to Fusion, but it still can be done. Eliminate a bunch of these dudes, like I said, a little more slowly, a little more methodically, and find the first super missile tank. Well, really the second, but the first one, I don't really count the first one, given that it's what it takes to get you the upgrade there. Continuing on, we're going to fall right back down. And continue making our way ever onward. We will go back and pick up some of those, though, because we might as well. Now, this is actually that hallway that I was remembering when we were floundering about the lava and the jumpy guys and all that schwaz in the red one. I don't know why I thought it was the red one. I mean, this room is very clearly green and very clearly has the item thing in that square instead of being in two places. But hey, you know what? I'm a human and it has a human brain. Pick up that energy tank, which we now have 8 of, and we are in double rows, which is always a good place to be on energy tanks. We're going to come to that exit that we saw earlier as we prepare to make our way right back up this vertical shaft here. There's that glorious unknown item block that we noticed earlier. I'm going to fall through. Important to make that a fall through block for the record instead of like a bomb block or something, so that way you can't skip it and end up getting to Ridley in the wrong way. This spot here is one of those spots, and I sigh heavily here because I struggled to get this correct. There is a missile tank up there. But what we're going to need to do, seeing as how we can't shine spark our way up there, is we're going to have to try to manipulate the spawn of this fly out of this tube to where we can jump up to right there where you just saw. The issue being, it is your jump height, or the height that Samus is at on the screen when it spawns, that depends, or rather changes, the height that those flies go up to. So it can be a bit tricky to try to manipulate it to get it to spawn, and to get it to spawn at the right area. But we finally do manage to do so, picking up that missile upgrade and carrying on, cleanly eliminating the fly on our way back, but maybe not as clean when it comes to these guys, which is a shame. But we do handle them rather nicely. And a bit more on the subject of exploring Ridley, that was a really weird way to enunciate that. There is no reason, outside of 100%ing the game, to try and come back here to get any of these items. So it's kind of important that you do so while it's still fresh in your mind and while you're there. If you're playing this alongside or because you've seen me do it, it saves a ton of time at the end of the day, instead of having to go all the way into Tower Rain and all the way through whatever. As we notice this busted Chozo statue here. Just not having to go through the entire map again is well worth taking the time to explore Ridley. Even in the original Metroid, it is well worth it if you can survive, because again, it is a brutal place to be. But as we get in this cannon here, you're gonna notice that one of those speed blocks we found, that I mentioned in an earlier episode, was utilized right there, which is nice. Now, more of these fast, floaty boys, which is a harder thing to say than I originally anticipated, and I think that's why I kept messing it up earlier, but take that hit twice as we get on our way to the other iconic pickup. The screw attack gives a really nice effect and will allow us to jump into enemies to deal damage to them and eliminate them, which is honestly just a really efficient way, and in the 86 Metroid it is the most powerful weapon in the game. But with that all being said, as we go ahead and pick up this missile tank to wind this one down, thank you for staying with me. It's been a long one. But if you've enjoyed the content, do like, comment, and subscribe should you choose the latter option. Hit that notification bell so I don't get lost in the incredible content you follow on YouTube. I've been Shreddist, you've been amazing, and I'll see you in the next one.